Greetings, folks. Greetings, folks. This is gonna be like a reaction video towards an AI video from Africa to Bluegrass, Banjo. So I want to show you like this video, this reaction. Can't be copyrighted if it's AI, if it's already programmed to.
American folk, bluegrass, and country music possesses a history that is both rich and complex, stretching back centuries and encompassing multiple continents, cultures, and musical traditions, originating not in the United States, but in Africa, where similar stringed instruments with drum-like bodies were played by various ethnic groups for centuries, serving both ritualistic and social purposes. With early African instruments often constructed from gourds or hollow wooden bodies covered with animal skin, combined with a neck and gut or fiber strings, and used in ceremonies.
That's one of the reasons, this is one of the reasons why, I wanted to learn and understand, banjo more, is because, what drew me towards the banjo is, it was an African instrument brought from to the Americas during the Atlantic slave trade during the 17th and 18th century, if I'm saying that correctly. But that's one of the reasons why it sparked my interest into learning the banjo. It was nothing about bluegrass, even though, bluegrass music is good. Some bluegrass, I can't say all bluegrass, but, there's some good bluegrass out there, and there's a lot of good bluegrass out there. But yeah, I'm aiming more towards folk, banjo folk. And yeah, that's one of the reasons it sparked my interest into learning, understanding, and going with the banjo. Is the history. It was never me watching somebody play. It was more me okay, there's a lot of history behind this instrument, and I wanted to know more. It was going down a rabbit hole, just wanting to know more about this instrument. So here you go.
Storytelling, dance, and communal gatherings, and these early musical instruments were brought to the Americas through the transatlantic slave trade, where enslaved Africans adapted their traditional instruments to the new materials available in the Caribbean and the southern United States, particularly in regions such as Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, forming the first recognizable predecessors of the modern banjo, with historical accounts from the 17th and 18th centuries describing enslaved Africans in North America playing gourd-bodied stringed instruments, often with 4 strings, played using finger-picking techniques
4 or 5 strings,
similar to those that would later define banjo music.
Could be
While
6
oral
too.
histories and early drawings illustrate these instruments being used for entertainment, religious ceremonies, and communal storytelling, reflecting the central role of music in African diasporic life. And although these instruments were initially confined to African American communities, they soon captured the attention of European-descended Americans during the early 19th century, as minstrel shows grew in popularity, with performers like Joel Walker Sweeney adapting and popularizing a...
See, that's one thing I actually like about history is history is like a double-edged sword. It can be good or it can be bad, but we can't change it. So behind this instrument there was a lot of runaways that carried the instrument. There was a lot of cowboys and a lot of people that held this instrument in different styles of this instrument. And that's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards it, is because it's a very old instrument, but we keep it alive, and we keep playing it, and we keep just building a relationship with it. It's like the instruments that I have, I actually build relationships with my instruments, and I understand, it's like it gives me a warm feeling every time I put my hands on it. And that's it. Let's continue.
5-string version of the banjo among white audiences, introducing a 5th drone string, standardizing tunings and influencing the evolution of playing styles, making the banjo both a folk and entertainment instrument. Throughout the 19th century, luthiers experimented with replacing the gourd body with wooden rims, adding metal tension hoops, calfskin drumheads, and eventually synthetic materials, while fingerpicking styles, clawhammer techniques, and strumming patterns spread throughout African American and white communities alike, integrating the instrument into folk, minstrel, and dance music traditions. And by the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the banjo had become firmly established in American musical culture, appearing in parlor music, vaudeville performances, and early recordings on phonographs, with virtuoso performers recording solos and accompaniment that disseminated the banjo's sound nationwide, influencing generations of musicians and listeners. In the early 20th century, the banjo became a mainstay of jazz and ragtime, particularly in New Orleans jazz bands, providing rhythmic drive and melodic ornamentation, with performers like Johnny St. Cyr, Eddie Peabody, and Fred Van Epps demonstrating its versatility, while the proliferation of radio broadcasts and phonograph recordings allowed the banjo to reach urban and rural audiences alike, embedding itself into American popular culture, even as the guitar began to gradually dominate rhythm sections and swing, and big bands, causing the banjo to become less prominent in some genres, but maintaining a strong presence in folk, country, and traditional music communities. In the Appalachian Mountains and other rural regions, the banjo became central to old-time and bluegrass music, with musicians developing regional styles and techniques that showcased the instrument's bright percussive tone. While the mid-20th century saw the folk revival elevate the banjo to new prominence through performers like Pete Seeger, who modified open-back banjos to accompany songs of so.
See, there's a lot of good history behind this instrument. You know, a lot of folk revolutionaries carried this instrument, and it was it's a blessing that, you know, we pass this instrument down from history, from time to time, from village to plantation to I guess the mountains, from the mountains to the farms to the villages. This instrument is history. Sorry about that. This instrument is history. Back to the video.
Commentary, labor movements, and civil rights advocacy, popularizing the instrument among new audiences while maintaining its historical roots. Simultaneously, Earl Scruggs revolutionized the instrument with a 3-finger picking technique known as Scruggs style, creating a driving syncopated rhythm that became the defining sound of bluegrass music, while
everybody came out with their own style,
plectrum, tenor,
styles of
and
playing
resonator variations, expanding the expressive possibilities of the instrument and adapting it to different musical genres. As recording technology, radio, and television expand.
That's why when I listen to sorry about that, it's kind of hot. That's why when I listen to critics, people who like tell you, they try to dictate to you how to play an instrument, is I kind of go against what they say, is because, you know, like, the whole point of being a musician or learning how to be a musician is to learn and to create. You're a creator. We can't sit there and copy and mimic off what other people do. We have to keep the flow going, and we have to keep elevating, keep developing. And one cup, we pour all this knowledge into one cup, and we turn it into something else. And that's how we as a people, we evolve. But yeah, back to the video.
The banjo reached international audiences, influencing musicians in Europe, Asia, and beyond, while academic studies traced its African roots, highlighting its journey across continents, the role it played in the African diaspora, and its integration into the diverse fabric of American music, bridging cultural divides and reflecting historical narratives of migration, adaptation, and innovation. Over the decades, luthiers continued to experiment with construction techniques, tuning systems, and materials, producing instruments with varying numbers of strings, different head types, and resonator configurations. While contemporary musicians have expanded the banjo into new genres, including jazz fusion, progressive folk, rock, and experimental music, using amplification, alternative tunings, and hybrid instruments to push the boundaries of sound, demonstrating that while the banjo has deep historical roots, it remains a living, evolving instrument. The banjo's cultural significance cannot be overstated, as it embodies a journey of survival, adaptation, and creative expression. From the sacred and communal music of Africa to the minstrel shows, parlor performances, and rural traditions of early America.
See, from the
through
villages
the
to
golden
the
age
country.
of jazz, the Appalachian folk revival, and the bluegrass explosion, and into the modern era of international music festivals, recordings, and experimental compositions, serving as both a symbol of heritage and an instrument of innovation, with its bright, percussive tone continuing to resonate across generations, bridging past and present, tradition and experimentation, storytelling and performance, and maintaining its essential role in the evolution of music. Moreover, the banjo's story mirrors broader...
See, even songwriting too, like there's histories behind songwriting too, like old, old spirituals, old Negro spirituals, spirituals from churches, spirituals just from villages, spirituals from plantations, just spirituals from different countries, it's energy behind it, and we just keep it alive. We just keep it alive.
Social and historical developments, illustrating the intersections of race, migration, and cultural exchange, showing how African musical traditions were preserved, adapted, and celebrated in the Americas, despite the hardships of slavery, oppression.
Okay, back again. I had to the internet was acting weird, so here we go.
Around the world. Today, the banjo is celebrated both as a historical artifact and as a contemporary instrument, with music festivals, academic studies, and virtuoso performers highlighting its enduring appeal, while innovations continue to enhance its sound and versatility, ensuring that the banjo's journey from ancient African stringed instruments through the enslaved communities of the Americas, minstrel shows, Appalachian folk traditions, jazz and ragtime, the bluegrass revolution, the folk revival, and modern experimentation, remains a testament to human creativity, resilience, and the power of music to connect cultures. Tell stories.
See, there's a lot of history behind this instrument, and just having this instrument studied in college, as a class alone, this can go into a lot of lessons, because it's just beautiful, the history. Some history is good and some history is bad, but yeah, here you go.
And inspire generations, demonstrating that the banjo is more than an instrument. It is a living chronicle of history, culture, and artistic expression, whose bright twang and rhythmic drive continue to echo across the world, from the intimate parlor to the grand concert hall, preserving the legacy of its African roots while adapting to the endless possibilities of modern musical innovation. And as new generations of musicians continue to explore its sound, the banjo remains both a link to the past and a bridge to the future, a symbol of how music can travel across continents, survive social upheavals, and continue to evolve, making it one of the most enduring and beloved instruments in the history of human music.
Yeah, and that the instrument is just
And
the instrument is just
share my screen.
Sorry about that, but the instrument alone is it's just history, and um I just wanted to share this reaction video with you to just just talk about the banjo. I mean, it's interesting to know that we just see an instrument, but we don't know like where it came from or who held it and who did what with it, and it's just the history just goes on. I mean, but that's it. I just made a video because thought it was interesting to talk about.